Hey, welcome to your Virgo horoscopes for the week of the November 5th through the 11th. Lots of stuff going on this week, including the moon coming into Virgo. Let's talk about Venus, though, for a minute here, because this is Venus's final few days in your sign, and also the final few days for that grand trine that Venus is very much a part of being in your sign as well. Venus is moving on to Libra by Thursday. That grand trine ends by Wednesday. So utilizing that as much as possible, the energies of that before they're gone, is definitely good. Venus also moves into a grand sextile with Pluto, the Sun, and Mars towards the end there as she's leaving your sign as well. So, and the Sun and Mars are very much focused on long-term career goals, while Pluto is focused on dumping some of the things that are holding you back from achieving those goals, if that makes sense. We let a lot of fear hold us back. We do. Every single one of us as human beings, we let a lot of fear hold us back. And that just gets in the way of success. And you guys are Virgos. You are mapped for success. You've got the energy, you've got the intellect, you've got everything you need. The only problem is your head gets in the way, and it does with so many different people. Your head gets in the way as you try to overanalyze it, as you try to figure it out, as you try to maybe come up with an easier way of getting there. All of those things are taking up valuable energy, space, and time from you just pursuing your career goals, the ones that you want to pursue. It's actually kind of interesting. I just had a conversation with my Virgo boy. I have a Virgo boy who just told me about what he wants to do, but how he can't do that right now. So he's run over to something else that he can do that will make him some money, but it's not exactly what he wants to do. Rather than going and getting the certifications and focusing on getting into what it is that he wants to do. I remember making those mistakes myself at his age, but for very, 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 very different reasons. Bottom line is that we all get a little bit scared, or we all get a little bit overwhelmed by what it takes to get to where we want to go. And we allow that fear to push us in the direction of something that's easy, maybe even a little bit comfortable, if that makes sense, as opposed to stretching our legs and seeing where we can take this. It is a very scary prospect. But ask any successful person if they let fear get in the way of their success, and see if that continue to make them successful. The truth of the matter is that successful people just keep doing it, and they just keep going, and if something doesn't work, they change it, and if that doesn't work, they change it again. They don't give up. That's the whole point. Let's talk about that moon now, because on Monday the moon moves into Virgo and will be there Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, moving into an opposition with Neptune. Neptune's focused on the past, while your Venus, as well as the moon, is focused on finances this week for you guys. And so there's a couple of things that come up with that. The first thing is that if you're looking for a quick financial solution, aren't we all, right? If you're looking for a financial solution, chances are doing something you've done before probably isn't going to work, especially if it didn't work the first time. But also, I feel like intuitively, by looking back at those solutions that you chose to work with in the past, you might see a gem that you missed the first time. So it may work a second time, as long as you incorporate what you may have missed the first time. So it's good to analyze. You guys are good at that, right? It's good to analyze what you did previously and whether that worked or not, but also analyze if it didn't work, what was missing from that equation, rather than just going back to what you did before. Take a look at it, see why it didn't work before, and see if there's something that you can incorporate in there that'll help it work a little bit better, if that makes sense. As we move into Thursday, we have no planets in Virgo. Things just go and calm way, way, way down all of a sudden. Having planets in Virgo wasn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. But in many cases it was very helpful, but it did cause a little bit of some challenges there as well. So focus remains very much on finances for the rest of the week, but we do have a slight influence of Juno coming into play here as well, focusing on relationships. And this is an interesting twist, going in a complete different direction from where we were before. Before, we're more professional. We're looking at, our professional success. Now, all of a sudden, we're being called upon to fight for our relationships. Very strange, right? How it just goes, from one to another. But that is not strange for you guys, because you guys are Virgos. It's just how you roll, right? You can go, with 100% focus on something and switch it to something else just as easily. I feel like Juno's influence in Virgo this week, which will be there all week long, in terms of relationships, there's a couple of different things. There's a couple of different ways that I can interpret that. One, you may be called upon to be an advocate for someone that, one of your relationships. For example, you have a friend, they're being accused of something, they didn't do. You may have to stand up and advocate for them. This also can happen in, let's say a medical situation, where you have to advocate for somebody who can't quite explain it themselves, or they just need somebody to come in and help out. And a Virgo is always a good one for that. Also, though, I feel like there is that element of having to fight for a relationship that is slipping in some way, if that makes sense. Where you may feel that you're fighting to keep a hold of a relationship that may or may not be in your best interests. Let me explain. When you're in a relationship where it feels like you are constantly having to work to get this person's attention, to get this person's validation, to get this person to pay attention to you, all of that work is being wasted. If you have to work that hard, there's no reason why you should be in this relationship. All relationships, whether they're love relationships or not, need to be symbiotic in a way. It's both people working into the relationship. If you don't do that, it becomes what my husband calls a relationship, which means it's nothing. It's just all bad. If you find yourself in that situation this week, it's time to ask yourself the question, why? Why do I keep fighting to get validation from this person who cannot freely give it to me? And if you cannot find the answer to that, then maybe you need to step away from it for a while and see if there's a possibility there that maybe that is not the right relationship for you, or if this is a family relationship or connection with somebody that you just can't get away from, rather than fighting with them, have a conversation with them. I know it seems like that's really kind of difficult to do, but it's actually not as difficult as you think it is. Most fights happen because of sarcasm, because people are not speaking their truth, because people are not saying what they need to say. They're alluding to it, and the other person's just not getting it. You can eliminate so much frustration just by being direct and to the point about what's going on with you. And chances are, and I don't mean direct and to the point in a brusque, it sounds like you're trying to start a fight way, which could be your normal way of talking. I know I'm one of those people. I tend to inadvertently start fights a lot. So try to be a little bit more diplomatic if that is the case. The thing is that a lot of problems in the world and in relationships could be resolved if people just went to the person and spoke their feelings about it. So this is a thing that's bothering me. I would like to work on this. Or, and if you don't want to feel like you're being aggressive to the other person, say, this is something that's bothering me. I would like us to work on this. And I would also like you to choose something that you would like us to work on too. That way it's fair and balanced. When you do that, it changes the whole conversation. And it doesn't necessarily go in the same direction of, I just can't seem to get through to this person, if that makes sense. So that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do click the link in the description and send me a copy. That's my tip and donation link, which I would really appreciate it. I am also adding my services to that link as well. So you can book a reading with the Heavy Metal Psychic right from that link, which is awesome. And we'll be having that option open until we get the website stuff sorted out, because we're going to have a really awesome website, but it needs time in order for it to be that awesome. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for watching. I love hanging out with you guys every single week. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I will see you guys next week. And in the meantime, you guys be the Virgos I know that you can be. The successful, awesome, I'm standing on top of a mountain and nobody is knocking me off this mountain, Virgos. That's what's needed this week in order to make sure that you get where you want to go. I'll see you guys next week. You guys make it a great one.